Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed Eater, and today we're going to be going over 5 habits that cause carries to throw their games. And the way that we'll be doing that here today is we're going to be taking a look at a very specific Luna game. This is a Divine 2 Luna game. So basically the reason why I'm very fond of this game, and I know it's going to help you guys eliminate a lot of the bad mistakes and habits that you have within your gameplay, is because it's a Divine player. You know, most people are below Divine, that's the reality. And so yeah, if this player makes the mistakes, you do too. Yeah, let's hop into it. And before we do, I just want to let you guys know that over on the website, we are posting so many videos right now. So many videos that are going to help you get to the next level and understand Dota on a new level that you just simply thought you could never get to. So if you feel stuck, you're on a losing streak, you don't know where to go, it's a really good solution. Go to the website. It's going to help you, yes you, get to the next level. Okay, let's get into the game. All right, getting into it, our first habit that we want to break has to do with bad and shitty TPs that are almost guaranteed to get you killed if your opponents are paying attention. The first one in this game comes at the 10-minute mark and 30 seconds, and you'll see what Luna does. She walks up to the small camp, she clears it, and she says, "Where do I farm next?" Right? Where do I farm next? Okay, pretty reasonable, and you can tell that she's thinking this because she immediately TPs bottom, very little hesitation. And honestly, you can tell that this is a Divine player because her farming rotation actually is quite efficient. However, it's relatively stupid here, and the reason being is, let's look at the map, okay? Right now, what do we see? We see an Earth Spirit mid. This is a bug, we don't see the Slaughter. So we see an Earth Spirit mid, and I think the Sven showed top very briefly. And we also see that his team is all showing top, or the Pango just showed mid. So what does this TP mean, guys? Like, this is what you have to be able to answer to understand why you can't make these plays, and I will tell you what the alternative is. But he TPs bottom, goes to farm the bot wave. The problem with this play is now the enemy team should know that he's the freest kill in the world. This is the easiest gank in the game. His whole team is showing top, and he just showed a lone bottom. And by the way, he didn't come out from here, he came out from here. And this actually means something. Hopefully you guys can take another point out of this. If the carry comes from here and farms the wave, you know that they TP'd. If they came from here, you know that they still have their TP, and maybe it's not the best idea to run at them if they go straight back, right? But he makes it very obvious that he TPs in, his whole team is top, and therefore, if I'm the Dark Willow and the Slaughter who are bottom, this is a free smoke gank, or even just a free opportunity to run at Luna and kill her. Now, unfortunately, she doesn't die for the sake of the video, but I still wanted to make the point, even to show that right here, look, the enemy team just lost their Sven. Okay, you lost your Sven, you don't want to fight top, right? What should they do instead? Just book it to the Luna. What do? Because it's Divine, and because these aren't like the top players, they have the typical bad habit. I know this isn't for carries, but they have the typical bad habit of just responding to the most recent fight instead of looking at what they could do. I mean, literally look at the map. Look how isolated this Luna is. She should die. This is a really bad habit that carry players have, and you should only make these type of TPs if there's a double or triple wave, in which case it's like so much gold that taking the chance of dying is worth it. Now instead, what should he have done? What he should have done is said, okay, to my Pango, hey, I'm going to be farming mid. And so instead of TPing bottom, you should just make the trek to here, because it's 10:28, which means the mid wave has not spawned yet, at least the upcoming mid wave has not spawned yet. So you'd run to here, clear this camp, clear this camp, clear this camp, and then back to mid. And that would be very efficient, and it would keep you off the map, which Luna, 9 times out of 10, wants to be off the map if she does not have proper information on where the enemy team is. On top of that, the best place for a hero like Luna to farm, or any squishy hero, is generally mid, because if you farm the mid wave, then you could theoretically go anywhere and you could play around the enemy team's positioning. For instance, if they go take a fight top, you could go bottom. The next one is like sort of a carry mistake, but it's going to apply to your games very often. Right here at the 12-minute mark, Luna just hit level 10. You know what she skilled? Beam. Okay, you hit 10, you skill Beam. What is the problem with skilling Beam to level 3 at this point in the game? The problem with it is it doesn't align with what you want to do. It doesn't make you farm faster, in which case you would just take your W, and it isn't the best fighting build, in which case you would take Eclipse. Right? You take Eclipse as long as you have 2 points in Beam. That's when you take Eclipse. Not necessarily immediately, but if you think you're going to fight. So this player, 1, doesn't go for the best fighting build, and he doesn't go for the best farming build. So that in and of itself doesn't make sense. And then on top of that, he has a more so farming build. Can we agree on that? He has a Mask of Madness. So clearly, he doesn't have like a Wand, Windlace, Dragonlance. He doesn't have some like skirmish early game build, okay? In which case, what does that mean? It means he should not hit towers that the enemy team can mass TP to when the majority of his team is not even close to him, right? The Lion, the Earthshaker, and the Legion are not in position to protect him right now, in which case hitting this tower is not that good of an idea. Does he get punished? Once again, this is not Immortal, so he doesn't in this case, right? In Immortal, you'll reliably get punished for these mistakes. However, in other brackets, you might be saying, oh, how does this apply to me then? It will apply to you because occasionally, 2 out of 10 times, 3 out of 10 times, 4 or 5 out of 10 times, depending on what bracket you're in, you will get punished for this, and it will cause you to lose the game. On top of that, like, I don't even know. This whole fight's just weird, but yeah, he doesn't have Eclipse. He, like, stops hitting the tower now. It's like, it's just such a waste of time. All this is just such a waste of time. I wish he just hit some creeps. And on the same note, skill build, item build, what is this? He's buying a Crystallis. He's buying a Crystallis because he's gonna go Daedalus into the Shard. Now, I'm not anti-Daedalus on Luna. I'm not anti-Daedalus Shard. I'm anti-Daedalus Shard before, like, way before the 20-minute mark. And by the way, he doesn't go, like, full Daedalus right away, which, thank God, that would be horrendous. But how do you not go Manta this game? In my opinion, it's one of those games where the enemy team lacks damage if I have Dispels. If I can Dispel, like, these heroes' abilities, it's just GG for them. And then if I get a Hurricane Pike, Butterfly Satanic, Sven can't touch me. Like, he cannot touch me. And so I want to get to that point. I want to get to the point where I can solo carry my team and get buffed up by my Legion. He just goes this really, like, weird bursty build when the enemy team has a bunch of backline jump, and he's going to end up dying a bunch because of it. By the way, Luna wins this game, like, which is, I think, another good point. Luna wins this game, but the build is just horrendous. Buy a Manta and split push. That is what this hero does best. All this innovation, be very careful about it, guys. Cookie cutter, it might not be as fun as going like Shard Crystallis, but if you like winning, stick to those builds. And on the subject of timing, we get into point number 3, which is making awful plays before timings. And most importantly, overcommitting to plays before timings. So in this upcoming clip, she walks over to the mid tower, it gets cliffed. Honestly, I don't know why she's mid in the first place. Look at the map. Where should Luna be? Probably top, just like wiping out this portion of the map, right? Instead, he goes mid. Okay. I guess there was a tower there. Pango had it anyway. It's not a good play right then and there, but still. He goes mid. The Sven ends up showing. Now, briefly, I'll get into the mechanical mistake of this play. He walks up, he beams, that's fine. Then he ulties and proceeds to auto-attack. If you're gonna ulti as Luna, you have to just stay on top of them, right? So right then and there, okay, a huge mistake, and it causes him to overcommit. However, my biggest problem with this entire clip is not even these mistakes. It's the thing that I said first, which is, why is he not top right now? I'm not trying to say, and a lot of you guys might be saying, oh, but Speed, this is such a high value play. He nearly solo killed the Sven. If he just played it a little bit better, he would have gone to mid tower. The problem with that, okay? The problem with this play is that it's a low percentage play. And this is what people don't realize. What people do wrong, what you guys do wrong, is you analyze your games based upon the result of what you did, not based upon what is going to work 80 or 90% of the time, what's going to get you to a win 80 or 90% of the time. You are making the low percentage play. She had no idea Sven was going to be here, walked mid when there's no creep wave and a low tower that Pango was already going to get when top was completely free, and this is not Luna's timing. This would make a lot more sense if it was 25 minutes into the game and she has 2 more items, Manta BKB. This makes no sense, right? It is a low percentage play, and this whole Sven thing, you could say, oh, but she's shutting down Sven's farm and almost killed the carry because Sven sucks and isn't paying attention and she got lucky. You know, that you cannot make your Dota games look like this. They cannot be based like this. Otherwise, it is a bad habit. You have to take the open space when you're playing a flash farming hero. It's not to say that going for kills is bad as a carry every game. It's just that he's playing Luna. He has a farming item build. There's so much space on the map. His team is dead, and he just walks mid anyway, which almost worked out. But even then, it didn't. And if we play out this clip, he even ends up dying, which, you know, I don't really have to explain why that's not good. Getting into point number 4. This, if you guys can follow this and really pay attention to this tip, it's going to help you the most out of all the points in this video. You guys know how I stress timings. In fact, the last point of the video was me stressing timings. I was stressing how he's making a very low percentage play that isn't based around a timing. So it's really just like bad. This play, he has BKB. Okay, you know, he's got his BKB and he's going to look to fight. However, point of this clip is not to tell you that you should fight when you get BKB. I've said that a million times. Hopefully you guys have started to incorporate that into your gameplay. If you haven't, that's your first step, okay? But what he does wrong is he overcommits to the idea that once I hit a timing, I have to do something. Dota is a complex scheme. I give you guys rules of thumb so that you can have like a more structured gameplay, and that's good, but Dota is complex. Even though you hit an item timing, you want to make sure your team is ready to fight properly around that timing. That you have a fight that has good fight fundamentals, vision, numbers advantage, or at least just a 5v5, right? Vision, numbers advantage. Those are typically the two big things. This fight, he has neither, and he takes it anyway. He also doesn't have Eclipse. His team's getting dove. I understand that it's like, okay, they're rotating over, but look at the situation of the fight. Actually, you can't, because he's not even looking. That's the problem. He's not even looking. He's walking over to the fight, and he can't see anything. How in the world are you going to take a good fight if you're looking at your own hero? You have to look. This is what his camera should be. Okay, he's farming the camp. He wants to take the fight. He should shift it over and say, okay, my Legion's getting dove. Does this look good? Oh no, she's getting stunned. She's going to get stunned, and then stunned, and then stunned, and then I'm going to be in between 4 heroes. Okay, it's not a fight. Does my Shaker have a blink Echo Slam? No, he doesn't. This is definitely not an engagement. Walk away, walk to mid, clear this out, maybe TP top, and farm all this, which is probably what he should have been doing in the first place for like the 18th time this game, which would have made this free. Instead, he makes this like same bizarre fight, no Eclipse, no teammates, no Echo Slam, and he goes in anyway just because he has BKB. Don't try to be the star player, just try to be the guy who wins MMR. And even though this clip ends up, it's like, oh, wow, he kills the Slaughter. Even though that BKB was really not needed. It was a very early BKB too. Honestly, this play maybe even had a chance of working out if he didn't panic BKB here. Like, the thing is, he's not going to get bursted from full HP, so he needed to hold it for later on if he wanted to keep chasing. And yeah, the enemy team overcommits. Okay, bad play. And once again, this looks like, this is why I like this game so much. I love this game so much, and I love this video in particular, because these plays seemingly keep kind of working, and he wins this game. But that's what's so awesome. This guy might look at this game and say, I played super well. My team almost made me lose. However, let's look at what happens. Even though, once again, for the millionth time, it looks like a good engagement, that's the thing about Dota. He overcommits, and instead of waiting for his team to be in position, where that could never possibly happen, he loses the fight. His BKB timing is just like, GG. And the last point of the video is not actually tied to a fight, but it is tied to the previous points that I've made in the video, and it's, anytime you lose an engagement, it's very important, if you're a carry player, to not look at the exact fight. Now, it is useful to look at the fight and say, what did I do wrong mechanically in this engagement, or even just situationally, right? Were my teammates in position? That's not necessarily mechanics, but did I make the right plays? For instance, in this engagement, let's look at what happens, because you could look at the exact fight and say, you know what, it kind of looks all right. He walks in, he goes for a beam, couldn't get it right away. Okay, he ultis a Slaughter to burst him. Pretty reasonable. I guess he got baited by illusions or whatever, but honestly, it looks like okay. He doesn't pop his BKB too early. Sven goes on him, doesn't want to get stunned, pops BKB, has to kite away from Sven. It's like, I'd give this guy like an 8 out of 10 here, right? In terms of like mechanics based on the exact things he could have done in that moment. But that's not what makes someone good, right? That's like a portion of it, of course. But what makes someone top tier is being able to look at that fight and say, wow, could I have just wiped this enemy team out if I made better decisions for the past 20 minutes? When you're doing your game analysis, right? Be careful. Like, if you try to do what I'm telling you to do right now during the game, you're just going to get tilted. Do this after the game. If you don't ever think about the game after the game, trust me, you're never getting to Immortal. Sounds harsh, but that's the reality. If you don't think about the game you played and try to figure out what you could have done better after the game, and you always do it during the game, you are not going to get to a high rank, period. Trust me on that. And yeah, that's where I'd like to end off the video. Just remember, look back in time. Always look back at, could you have made better decisions? For instance, this guy, he could easily be 6-0 right now with like almost 70 or 80 more CS, which sounds crazy. His CS looks pretty good, but that's what's so cool about Dota. This guy's a divine player. That's pretty freaking good. That's like, what, top 5% of the community? And yet still there's a million things to fix. In reality, there's also a million things that I have to fix in my games. And hopefully you guys can see in the Smurf series that I do think that way, and it's not me just like gaslighting or whatever. But alright, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want me to do this for different roles, comment that role down in the comment section down below. Like the comment, right, that you want to see that role done for. And on top of that, smash the like button on this video if you haven't already. I appreciate it a ton, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace! And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the gameleap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace!